Hello and welcome to an episode of The Grafter Show, where we talk about people's journeys to achieving their goals. I'm your host Shabir, and in this episode, I'll be talking to you about the importance of taking breaks, how to take a break, and even how to return from a break. Now, I think this should be very useful for people given that the Christmas period is pretty much upon us. It's often a time where a lot of people take their holidays or they take a break from their full-time jobs or their businesses. So hopefully a lot of people can find this episode very useful. Now, firstly, you may have noticed there was a pretty big gap between the last episode I released and the one before that. Now, I had just decided that I needed to take a break and I needed to focus on various other things in my life. I actually put an episode out a couple of episodes before, just actually talking about why I did that, but then also talking about dedication and just the topic around that. Now, the last episode I did put out was with Joe Winters Jr. It was a really enjoyable episode for me to record with him. And I think a lot of people can find a lot of useful information from that. People who are looking to start their own businesses, people who may be working with individuals who are looking at a commission-based scheme rather than a full-time salary. That's something that Joe really struggled with at the beginning, and trying to have those open and honest conversations with other individuals and getting them into the right mindset to understand what a business owner really means and what the mindset of a business owner is. Now, to stay up to date with all of the episodes and all future episodes, be sure to follow The Grafter Show on Twitter and Instagram. Both of the usernames are just The Grafter Show. Also, be sure to subscribe to the podcast. It's available on both iTunes and Spotify. If you're using an app to listen to your podcasts, just search for The Grafter Show and it should come up. So you have a lot of ways to follow the podcast and keep up to date with all of the upcoming episodes. Okay, now I'm going to get into the importance of taking breaks. That's the first thing that I really want to talk about, especially in this day and age where it's so easy to be connected to everything that's going on thanks to technology. I mean, you just have your mobile phone in your hand and pretty much you're intact with everything that's going on around you and in the entire world. So firstly, why is taking a break so important? Now, I've got 4 main reasons for this. I'm sure others have a lot more reasons or they have other reasons, but these are the 4 that really stood out to me and the 4 that I really want to talk about. So firstly, hitting the reset button in your head. Sometimes you might have a lot on your mind. It may be about business, it might be about your career or whatever else it is that you're working on. It may be some problem that you've been trying to solve for a while and you just can't seem to figure it out. If you sometimes take a break from it, you can often come back and look at things with a fresh perspective without having your previous thoughts cloud your mind. So it just gives you a fresh outlook on whatever that might have been, whether it is your work, whether it is a specific problem, and it just allows you to almost hit that reset button in your head. Now, the second one is just giving your mind and your body some rest. It's a very obvious one. It's usually the main reason why people take a break. It's something that I've had to do many times in my career. I work out fairly often and I understand generally the importance of taking a rest for the human body, but the same is true for the human mind as well. You can easily tire out your mind, and a lot of people don't appreciate how important this is. The more you work yourself mentally, the less productive you become. And I think making sure you have those regular mental breaks will help you be more productive and creative in the long term. So sometimes you just need to switch off and spend some time away from the things that are stressing you out or are putting a lot of strain on yourself in order to get the best out of you. Now, the third one, just time to focus on other things. This is something that I've heard from a lot of other people. Sometimes they just want to do something else with their time. So they've got a full-time job or they've got their own business, but they just want to spend a bit of time with their family, or they have a hobby that they're really interested in and they really want to spend some time towards that. Or they like to travel. So they just want to go around traveling for a little bit before coming back to their full-time job. As an example, for the first few episodes, I actually took a few days off from my day job and I actually did a little road trip up the country here in the UK to record those first few episodes. Those were with Scott Swench and his team. That would be Troy Hemus and Theo Robinson, and also with Icky. That's Mohammed Ikram. Those were the first couple of episodes that I put out, and I actually just took a couple of days off work, did a nice little road trip up north, spent a bit of time up there as well, met some friends and spent some time recording the first few episodes and editing them. It may not even be a side project that you want to focus on. As I said before, it might be just to give yourself some time just to relax or some time to rest, some time with your family or your friends, just to get away from your daily job, whatever that might be. Now, the fourth reason, reassessing where you are in life. Now, in order to see where you are, and where you want to go in life, sometimes you need to take a step back away from the things that you're doing on a daily basis. You need to distance yourself from that and just really assess what's going on and where you want to go. This works very well with careers. You could be so bogged down in the detail of your everyday that you never really lift your head to figure out what it is that you want to do next, or what it is that you want to do in the next 5 to 10 years. So taking some time off really helps you to reassess where you are in life and where you want to go. And it could even be your personal life. It might not even be career related. It could just be something to do with your hobbies. Either way, stepping back and just having a look at the bigger picture rather than being so bogged down in the little details really allows you to assess that. So those are my 4 main reasons on why you might want to take a break. Just as a recap, the first one was to hit that reset button in your head. The second one, giving your mind and body some time to rest. Third, time to focus on other things. And the fourth one, just reassessing where you are in life and where you want to go. Now that sounds great. And a lot of people think, I'm going to book a holiday, I'm going to go somewhere, or I'm just going to book some holidays off work and I'm going to sit at home and do whatever it is that I need to do. Now, I actually want to talk about how to actually take a break. And this might sound a bit bizarre because people think that you just do what I've said before and you're fine. Actually, I think that there's a lot more to it. And I've got 3 quick tips when you're taking a break in order to get the most out of that break. So just very quickly, the first one is to switch off. Now, you might have a work phone, you might have a work laptop, or you might have access to various work things via your personal devices. The best thing you can do for yourself if you're looking to really get away from things is switch them off and distance yourself from them. Obviously, in this day and age, you can easily connect from anywhere pretty much, regardless of where you are. As long as you have an internet connection or a data connection, you can pretty much get hooked in. So it's really important to disconnect. As an example, sometimes I have a work phone. I don't take my work phone with me if I want to really take a break, or if I want to spend some quality time with my family, or if I just don't want to be disturbed. I won't take my work phone just because I know I have that habit of picking it up and starting to check things, starting to respond to emails and messages. And I don't want to be doing that when I want to focus on other things. The second tip, remove distractions. Now, this might sound very similar to the first point, but there could be a lot of things that could distract you or just put you in a different mindset. For example, on your desk at home, you might have your work notepad, and that might just trigger off your work thoughts. Every time you see it when you walk into the room every day, you might start thinking, oh yeah, I have that other thing that I need to do at work. So it's really important to actually remove those distractions. Just actually remove physically those items, whether it is from your desk. Maybe you've got your work bag that you walk past every day in the morning because it's right there near the entrance to your house. And that just triggers off those thoughts as well. Pack them away, put them out somewhere else, put them on a shelf so you don't see them. It's not in plain sight. And that will really help to make sure that your mind is focused on the break rather than thinking about work things while you're on a break. Now, the third tip is be where you need to be. Physically be wherever you need to be in order to take that break. And a lot of people typically will end up going on a holiday. Maybe you just need to change things up. Maybe it's not even going on a holiday. Maybe it's visiting your family, staying with them, visiting some friends, staying with them, sleeping in a different room because maybe the room that you're currently sleeping in at home just really triggers off that thought process for you to be thinking about your daily stuff. Maybe renting a room on Airbnb. It doesn't have to be far, but just a change of scenery might really help in order for you to take that break. If you think you're fine at home, then that works too. Remember, this is a personal thing. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. Now, a question that a lot of people might have is, how long should a break be? And I don't really have an answer for this, to be honest. I think it depends on the person. Different people can feel re-energized in different amounts of time. Some people think that maybe taking a full week off, depending on how intense things are going, is good. Other people think maybe just a 1 or 2 day break now and then really helps rejuvenate them, really helps them get into the right mindset and helps them be creative and productive. I think you need to just learn from experience for yourself. You need to maybe test a few things out, try to understand your mind and body and try to really understand what's the best period that will get you working how you want to work. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is returning from a break. I've covered off the importance of taking a break and how to take a break, but I've got a few tips on what to do when you're returning from a break. So the first one is, before you even take that break, schedule in some time to ease yourself back in. Now, whenever I take a holiday, which is longer than a week, I often book the first half of my day or the first full day just to catch up on emails and messages. I'll book in some time with the key team members that I have in order to have a catch up with them on the first couple of days that I'm back, so I really understand what's going on. I typically do this, especially if there's a big project going on or if it's been an intense period. If it's a quieter period, something like the Christmas times, for example, a lot of companies often slow down at this period just because so many people are on holidays. You might not need to do this. Maybe just having a couple of hours on the morning that you return from holiday might be sufficient. The second tip is understand what your high-level goals are when you return. I think there's always a danger whenever someone returns from a break that they immediately get into the details of things, and this is actually counterproductive. It's better to understand the high-level picture, the high-level objective and goal, whether it is for your own company, whether it is for your daytime job. And then once you've got that high-level understanding, you'll find it a lot easier to jump into the lower-level detail. And the third tip, set your own realistic expectations. Don't expect to get everything done on the same day that you're back. Expect that it will take a bit of time for you to get back into the swing of things. It's normal. Be honest with yourself about this, and be honest with those around you as well. Be honest that it's going to take a couple of days for you to really understand that problem that your team has been working on, and that you need a little bit of time just to get up to speed. If you're honest with other people, they'll appreciate that, and they'll often give you that time in order for you to get up to speed on things. So that's it. That's all I really wanted to talk about. I think taking a break is a very, very important thing, and I've touched on the importance of taking a break, how I think you can best take a break, and how best to return from taking that break. I hope you find that very, very useful. If you do have any feedback or you want to share your thoughts, you can comment on Twitter, on Instagram. You can also email me at info@thegraftershow.com. Remember to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and Spotify or whatever podcast app you prefer. You can also just listen to all of the episodes online on www.thegraftershow.com. You can actually download each episode as well for offline listening. If you're still using something like an MP3 player, for example, you can load it up with some episodes, and that will keep you entertained, hopefully, for several hours. Look out for more episodes of The Grafter Show, and thank you for listening.